It's a beautiful February day, and if you're like me and you're a gardener, you are itching to get out there to plant something. But don't do it yet. There's one thing you can be doing, and that I would advise doing right now, is onions. Right now is the perfect time to plant anything in the onion family, whether it's shallots, onions, leeks, garlic, that kind of thing. That is what we can be doing right now to get ourselves outside, kind of get a taste of being back in our garden. So today I'm going to go to my garden and plant my onions. In fact, I probably could have done it last week, because you want your onions in the ground way before your last frost date, which can sometimes be on into April where I live. I'm in zone 7. So you really want to get these onions or shallots in the ground, for me, probably before mid-March. What I'm planting today are called onion sets. And when I first started doing onions, I didn't even know what an onion set was. I didn't know any of that. So it's okay if you don't know. Get out there, learn, watch some videos, follow me. These are onion sets. Basically, they're just tiny little onions that will grow into big onions. And you can buy them in bags, or you can buy them by the scoop in bulk. I've got a feed and seed pretty close to me, and he sells them in bulk, which is great. So I'm planting sweet onions and red onions this year. And when I plant my onions, I do them in wide rows. I know some people like to garden in straight lines, but I have found that I can get more bang for my buck, so to speak, or get more produce on my small land if I do wide rows. So a wide row means my garden of onions will be about 12 inches wide, and ever how long I want it. So these will probably be about 12 inches wide and maybe about 2 feet long for the sweet and the red. And I'm going to put them in the ground about 3/4 of an inch down into the ground, and then I will space them about 2 inches all the way around the onion. You can even put them as close as 1 inch if you're limited on space. You can even put these in a big pot full of soil and put them pretty close together, and you can grow them in bunches. Either way, just get them in the ground now while the weather is cool. Because here's what's happening. While the weather is cool, all the energy is getting put into the green shoots that are coming up. And you want those green shoots to be as big, green, and juicy as you can get them. Because once they stop growing the green tops and the weather starts warming, they will not grow the green anymore. Mother Nature has a way of just kind of flipping the switch. When the weather gets warmer and the sun shifts a little bit, all of the energy starts going to the bulb, which is what you want, because that's the part you want to get really big. But the bigger your green that you see above the ground, the bigger your bulb will be when you go to harvest it. So it is essential, get your onions, shallots, garlic into the ground right now while it's cool. It feels great today and it feels like spring, but I know there's more winter coming. I actually hope there is more winter coming, because it's going to do some favors for my onions. So get out there today, don't waste any more time. Get out there and plant your onions. I'll take you out to the garden with me and kind of show you what my wide rows look like. But enjoy this beautiful weather, use it to our advantage, and let's go plant some onions. Hopefully you can see I've got my wide row ready. It's about 1 foot wide, and really I just make it about as wide as my garden rake. So I've got it, I loosened up the soil and I smoothed it down and made it as level as I could. This soil looks fantastic. This winter I decided to cover my garden in all the leaves that had fallen from these trees, so they could break down and add to the mulch and the richness of the soil, and it looks fantastic. So I'm glad that I did that. So let me just plant a few with you so you can kind of see how I do this. I'm just going to start on the edge of my wide row, and I like to go ahead and place my onions where I'm going to put them, and then I'll go back and plant them once I have them all placed, and then they go super quick. So I'm just going to do it kind of in a zigzag pattern, almost making like a little tic-tac-toe board, I guess. And then you'll go back and plant them about 3/4 of an inch deep, about 2 inches apart. And that'll be it. And you don't even really have to go over them. I do tap them down to make sure they're pretty solid in the ground. I tap them down with the back of a hoe, and that's about it. And then your onions are ready to go for overwintering, and it'll be starting to sprout in no time. All of my onions are planted, all my onions set. You can kind of see where the holes are, how I space them, and the line that you're seeing right there is just my way of knowing that sweet onions are over on this side and red onions are on this side. So this is all I will do for now. They are in the holes, and I'll just go through and cover them up. It's just as easy as that. Making sure they're all covered, and then I'll tap the top of them with the back of a hoe just to make sure they're stabilized, and then we're good to go. Here are a few onions I planted back in the fall. You can see the green shoots are still green. They're still growing. So I think I'll leave them for a while. I'll definitely leave them for a while, because once it starts warming up, these bulbs are going to start growing. The greens will stop growing, and they'll eventually turn brown. And once they turn brown and they start flopping over, that's how you're going to know it's time to harvest your onions. So these will be way ahead of the ones I just planted, but that's good. That'll give us some for early summer. I did mean to mention one more thing, and maybe I did mention it, but in case I forgot, when you plant your onions, I think most people know this, but if you don't, make sure you plant them so that the tip is facing up, and you'll see the little roots. I guess you can see that the little roots on the bottom go down. So they just go straight down into your hole, about 3/4 of an inch deep, and then cover them up lightly with soil, tap them with the back of a hoe, and then you're good to go. Let them rest, and probably in about 100, 120 days, you're gonna have onions. So good luck with it. Send me a message if you have any questions. We'll work through it together.